Alright, what's up guys, it's Mitch or DD, and this is my first time doing a video like this. So we are going to be talking about ML Krau. So this unit
Krau, code number 00.
is absolutely insane.
Standing by.
He's absolutely insane. There's no other word for it.
All systems.
These are my initial thoughts, and I'll explain why I think this. I'm not just hyping him up because he's a new ML unit. I'm actually terrified of him. He shuts me down heavily, meaning I almost have to pull him. I thought ML Taiwan was oppressive. This is absolutely insane. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute the video. But once we get into the skills, he's awesome. This just how he looks. One, I think he looks cool at Ruined Violet. I think he might be the newest cool like dude ML5 now. So like look at that. Look at it. It's sick. It's something unique to the game because we haven't had like mecha units yet. We're about to get a bunch, but he's something new, something different. Comes out in 2 weeks. So I did pull Dark Corvus, so I'm at like 200 from pity. So I'm kind of screwed, I think, on him. But even his look at like his emotions are probably all pretty cool. But so he AoE horses. So on my stream, I was memeing about the AoE horse extinction, but he actually AoE horses for defense pen damage, which is insane. And then his kit's just busted. So I'm gonna talk about him. I'm also gonna say how I plan on playing him. So he has a little backstory right here. I am gonna go just straight into talking about his skills. So one thing with him, he does have crit chance imprint. So you never want to rely on another unit to give you crit chance. You want to build all your units 100%. That's just something I've always been a big advocate of. As I say that, most of my units are 99. But either way, you're going to want for the health percent most likely. It's just to be safe, because what if they ban ML Crowd, then you have a bunch of scuffed crit chance units in RTA. So I'm going to be talking about him from an RTA perspective. Just so everyone knows, I am like semi-border legend RTA. For preseason, I'll be like, what is that, like gold? Not regular season, I'm just kidding. But I do think he's going to be just rampant. He's going to be one of the most used ML5s, because this right here. So it's going to give, it's an AoE S3 that does damage pen. But the first part of it, it gives immunity to all allies. So I need that really bad. Right now, my only unit that does that is Vivian. So just with that alone, he hard counters ML Taiwan. So immediately just hard counters ML Taiwan because he gives immunity. So he's already really good. And then penetrates defense but cannot trigger a critical hit, meaning you don't need to build crit chance, crit damage on him. You don't need it. It's all HP scaling, so just build HP. Makes him so much easier to build. So those two things combined, already insane. Damage on crits proportional to caster max HP, so you just stack HP. That's easy. And then HP and speed, because he does have cycling, and he gets a speed boost on his S1, which we'll get to that. Damage zone increases every time the skill is used and gets staggered 3 times with the soul burn of 1 soul to decrease it by 2 turns. And after getting Molagora into it, 1, increase of damage, that's huge. 2, it also puts it down to 6-turn cooldown. So with soul burn, you're getting down to 4-turn cooldown, and you just keep cycling, and he gets speed buff on his S1. It's absolutely insane. So, and it's AoE defense pen. So you can bring him against tanks, it's getting defense pen, doesn't matter. You can bring him against squishy units, just gonna kill him. Like, he's broken. Like, I don't know what they're thinking with this. Maybe something's going to come out to balance him. But look how cool the skill looks as well. So he just goes and AoE horse. The meme of the AoE horse is so funny. So we're going to go into... So this is part of where he gets even more broken. So after suffering an attack that targets all allies, decreases the caster's skill cooldown by 1 turn. So his S3 cools down every time you get AoE'd. Meaning, bring him against SSB... broken, because the second part of this you get a barrier every time there's an AoE when he hasn't like once per turn. So like ML Taiwan's cleanse. So you bring him in SSB counters. He's moving so fast. He's gonna boost back around, and you're gonna be able to get it again by the time anything else AoE. So SSB kind of counters him in the sense that she has S3 that puts unbuffable. But the problem with unbuffable is that you put up immunity. So, and your crowd's going to be faster than their SSB. So there are a couple of units I will talk about that are very good counters. Obviously Bassar, but I'll talk about those after. So the barrier should increase the portion of caster's max health. And look, you can get a 50% barrier increase on a skill enhancement. So that means it's probably going to be a very thick barrier. We don't know the multipliers yet, but even if they're not that great, it's going to be a lot if he's mullered. So he hard counters Flitica, because you put the barrier back up. So if you bring FCC Flitica goes. Say she ships the barrier, you just put the barrier right back up after she takes her turn. So you see Rowana with him, going to be the most annoying thing ever, is having Rowana with ML Krau. So, let's talk about that in a minute too. But his S1 increases the speed. So he has a speed increase on his S1. So every time you S1, he just gets, it's only on 1 turn. So at least they didn't make it 2 turns, so where you can't just speed boost up. Then you get your S3 and then you still have speed boost. That is good at guess, but he's still going to be cycling turns like a madman, I think. Especially with Rowana. If you pair them both together against an SSB, somehow they get through, which most likely both won't. And that video is like a rare occurrence, I would assume, because there's no way you let them both through. He's probably going to be a very, very heavily banned hero in pre-ban. But I'm going to talk about if I pull him, how I'm going to play him. So damage is just damage, increases portion custom health, so you just build him tanky and does more damage. Those are the most OP units. Can I turn subtitles off? Alright, we'll shrink them down. Why was I watching in different language subtitles? So yeah, you see SSB counters here, and they're back to full health with a barrier. The barrier doesn't look too thick on that, but you gotta think those are all, he has 26,000 HP right there, and you see he hit for 6k, and he's probably max molded, so that gives a good example of how much damage he's going to do, because I have a feeling you're probably gonna run around 25k HP with 240-ish speed. If you can get those stats, I think those are attainable, but something around there. So he's just going to be so oppressive, especially to my playstyle, because I play like CC, all my units are AoE damage deals. So how I'm going to play him, if I do pull him, is right now my normal ban is Rowana, because I am a heavy SSB player. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-ban Rowana, and then pray I get first pick, because if you pre-ban Rowana, and they get first pick, they'll probably pick SSB, I would assume, because they're like, oh, there's no counter. Then you pick ML Krau. But say you pre-ban Rowana, and then you get first pick, you pick ML Krau first. They're likely not going to pick SSB at that point, because Last Rider Krau kind of counters SSB. So like, okay, I'll pick something else. Then you pick SSB. You have Last Rider Krau, you have SSB, two of the most obnoxious units probably to deal with, and you get a free draft from there. So that's going to be my plan for him, just because it's just insane. Because then you get him on your team. He has a really good kit. He does a lot of AoE damage, and you get SSB, and then you draft anything else around it. I don't know who else I'm going to use yet, but that was my initial thought going into it. I think that's going to be super strong. But one of the cool things is ML Assyria, I feel like, actually gets a little bit of a buff because of this unit. You bring ML Assyria now. Unbuffable units are about to be very heavily valued, so SSB does have unbuffable. And then ML Assyria, you do the AoE. He can't get his speed buff. He cannot get his... He can't get the barrier on the enemy team every turn. So she's going to be a little bit better, but the problem there is going to lie in ML Tywin. ML Tywin paired with Last Rider Krau, I feel like it's going to be the biggest nightmare. Rowana paired with Last Rider Krau is going to be obnoxious. He's going to be annoying. I feel like he's going to be ML Tywin level of oppressive just in all terms, because he's a knight. The knight meta is so brutal right now. But it's going to be fun if you do get him. So I will 100% be pulling for him. I don't know if I'll be able to get him because like I said, I just pulled Dark Horus. Hopefully I can. But let me know down in the comments if you're going to be pulling for him. What's your thoughts of him? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think I have EU brain, which I do? I am an EU player. Just let me know. I'm curious to you guys' opinion. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of video. Sorry it's my first time ever doing this, so if it's bad, I apologize. Give me tips on how I structure it. Please be nice if you can. But it's been Mitch or Deity, and I will see you guys in the next live stream or next YouTube video. Peace out.